Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. I am so excited for today's video because I am back here in our kitchen and I have a recipe for you. So what's really fun about this recipe is it was completely unexpected. One of my favorite things on one of our recent trips to Mexico were these popsicles that were coconut flavor, creamy. They were not just like a fruit popsicle, but kind of almost like a mix between like ice cream and just like a traditional popsicle. And the other day I was making this recipe for homemade keto ice cream, and it turned out the exact flavor and texture of those popsicles. And so today I'm going to be making that recipe again and making it into popsicles. So I will say that this is a keto recipe, but it's not just for keto people. So if you are not keto, that's not for you. You can still use real sugar in this, and I think it will be just as fantastic. What I love most about this recipe is it is super simple, and you can also make multiple flavors just from one batch. So all you have to do is you just make the base, and then at the end you can kind of split it up into 2 or 3 different sections and add in your different flavors. So today I'm going to be making 2 flavors. I'm going to be making coconut, which was that favorite popsicle in Mexico, and I'm also going to be making a pistachio version. So all you need for this recipe are a few ingredients, and the only thing I typically don't keep on hand is heavy whipping cream. So that was the only thing I had to get. I feel like a lot of these things are kind of just staples that you might already have. So that's what's really great about this recipe. So I will link down below the original ice cream recipe, as well as kind of write out all the instructions for what I'm doing today. So feel free to follow along in the comments or in the video, whatever works best for you. And we're just gonna get started. All right, so this recipe is broken up into kind of 3 steps. The very first step is you're gonna make a kind of coconut, sugar, vanilla mixture. And the second step will be kind of a whipped cream. And then the third is assembling both of those together with the different flavors you're gonna do. What I have here is 1 can of full fat coconut milk. You do need to use the full fat version, otherwise it'll be a little too icy and just not the right consistency. You're gonna use your sugar of choice. I'm using monkfruit, and you'll also need just kind of a binding agent. Maybe I'll put down below what I would suggest if you aren't doing keto, but I'm using some xanthan gum, and then I also have some vanilla. The original recipe calls for a vanilla bean, which I think would just put this over the top, but I don't have any vanilla beans, so I'm just gonna be using some regular vanilla. So I just have kind of a small saucepan here. And we're just gonna kind of turn this onto, medium low heat. I don't simmer this as much as they suggested just because I feel like it didn't need it. And you do have to cool this mixture after this. So I don't like it to take, way longer to cool all the way down if it doesn't need to. So I'm just going to add all of my coconut milk here to our saucepan. Get all of that goodness. So this recipe, I'm gonna be using 90 grams of monk fruit. If you're using sugar, I would go and just check out really quickly an online converter, because the sugar may be a little more or less depending on what kind of sweetener you're using. So I'm just gonna measure out 90 grams. All right, I'm gonna add that just right into my coconut milk. And I'm just gonna grab a little whisk here and just kind of whisk that in. And then to that mixture, I'm gonna add 3 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And so here's where you're just gonna wanna heat this up and just until your sweetener is dissolved, and then we can kind of move on to the next step. All right, so next I'm gonna be adding 1/4 teaspoon of the xanthan gum. And it says not to pack it too tightly here. What this does is kind of make it gelatinous. So we're just gonna add that right in, and I'm just gonna sprinkle it over the top so it's not all in just kind of a clump. And don't worry if this doesn't quite mix in. In the next step, we're gonna kind of do that as well. So we have the xanthan gum in. I'm just gonna whisk this up a little bit. Again, don't be worried if it doesn't quite incorporate perfectly the first time. All right, so once your mixture is all combined in your saucepan, transfer it to a bowl. And what we're gonna do next is use an immersion blender. If you don't have one of those, probably have something else, maybe just a normal blender, maybe use food processor, or you could just skip this all together. I have an immersion blender. I'm gonna immersion blend this just for a little bit. That's just gonna get any of the maybe like little clumps out, and then we'll be ready to just pop this in the fridge. It needs to cool all the way until it's not warm anymore. So probably around like an hour, hour and a half, and then we'll be ready for a whipped cream mixture. All right, I'm back. So it's been a couple hours and our mixture has cooled, and now we're ready to make the whipped cream mixture. So I have 16 fluid ounces of heavy whipping cream, and we're gonna whip this up in the KitchenAid just until it forms soft peaks. So not super stiff, but really that nice whipped cream texture you might have. So I've got my whisk attachment here. I can just kind of go directly in. Last time I made this, I actually measured out exactly what it called for, because it called for 480 grams of heavy whipping cream, and it ended up being exactly this. So that was perfect. All right, that looks like some soft peaks, so I think we're all set. So first, before I start making the two different flavors, I'm going to add, I think, like another teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then in my two flavors, I'm actually gonna use a different extract, but I don't think I want too much of that. So I'm just gonna add more vanilla. Do a little taste. So for the two flavors I'm gonna make, I'm gonna do coconut, like I said, and a pistachio. So my coconut, I'm gonna cut up some coconut flakes and also put in a little bit of coconut extract. And then for the pistachio, I'm gonna crush up some pistachios and then also put in some almond extract. I'll probably put maybe like 1/4 to 1/2 cup of each. I'm not quite sure yet. We're just gonna kind of wing that part. All right, I think that's good. It's pretty fine. I'm just gonna put it into a little bowl, and then I'm gonna crush up the pistachio. So I found it a lot easier just to put the pistachios in like a Ziploc and then just use something to kind of crush them. And then you're able to kind of get pretty small, but then also kind of some maybe bigger chunks, medium chunks, and I feel like that works really well. So I'm just gonna put a kind of, just an eyeball amount. I have like about this much. All right, and then like I said, you can just find anything to kind of crush these. I honestly like this ice cream scoop, perfect. Like I said, I like to have this pretty fine, but then I also like to have some that are like a little bit bigger of chunk. All right, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add our coconut vanilla mixture into our whipped cream, mix those all together, separate them, and then make our two flavors. So I don't know if you can tell, but this coconut mixture here, it's really like jelly, kind of like a Jello type situation. And that's what you want it to be like. So I'm gonna add this all in here. And I'm gonna keep this bowl because then I can separate it. So let's just whip this up a little bit. And not too much, just until combined, So I'll start with my pistachio one first. So I have my crushed pistachios. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of these crushed pistachios on top of the popsicle. So I'm gonna make sure I have a little bit left over, but you can just kind of pour these in. And then I'm also going to add this vanilla extract. I'm just gonna start by adding 1/2 teaspoon and then see what it tastes like, and then potentially add another 1/2. That smells so good. All right, let's taste this. It's light, so I think I'm gonna add another 1/2 teaspoon of the vanilla. All right. That's perfect. All right, so I'm just gonna set this aside. And now we'll make our coconut. So I have the other 1/2, and I have our chopped up coconut and this coconut extract. So again, let's just start with like 1/2. up. That is so good. I'm gonna add more though. It's not too sweet though, this whole mixture. So I feel like the flavors really are the main part here. Yeah, that's good. Now my coconut. All right, so here's the situation I have going on. I have our popsicle mold. Comes with these sticks and a lid. And I'm just going to kind of pour these. It says not to pour it too high to the top, and you actually want to freeze it without the lid first. I think it said for maybe like an hour or so, then put the lid on in the sticks. Otherwise the sticks kind of just will go all the way in. So like I said, I'm gonna fill them, leave a little bit of space, and then sprinkle kind of some extra pistachios and extra coconut on top. And I think that'll be really nice. I'm not actually sure the best method for this. I don't think this was the best method, but it did actually work better than I thought. I feel like if I just wanted to get a lot more things dirty, I might just like put it in a piping bag and pipe them into this. Honestly, this method's okay. And there's a lot of leftovers in this, so that's something to consider too. I feel like I would just get more of these popsicle molds. Otherwise, make it like ice cream, because like I said, this recipe originally was just for like scooped ice cream. So these are filled to just about there. And like I said, I'm gonna sprinkle pistachios on top. Just gonna like gently kind of press it into it, just because I don't want it to like actually still fall off once it's frozen, but. All right, perfect. So for the pistachio, I'm just gonna add the rest of these pistachios into here, and then I'm just gonna put it in like a Tupperware, and then that will be like some scoopable ice cream. So that's fine. Got our coconut mixture next. Going to do the exact same thing. That method was perfectly fine, so we're just gonna do that again. So again, that worked out. We're gonna, bad choice. Okay, we'll just kind of get these pistachios out a little bit. All right. So now I'm just gonna sprinkle my coconut right on top. Again, just kind of press it in there. All right, so this is what you want them to look like. And we're gonna put them in the freezer for probably like an hour, and then we'll put on the lid and put the sticks in. So I will follow up once they're frozen, show you kind of how they turned out and what kind of texture they should be. All right, it is the next day and our popsicles are completely frozen. I didn't show you this yesterday, but after about an hour in the freezer, I did put the lid on and then just put the sticks right in. And then these froze overnight. So we have them here and we can try them out. So what you're gonna do, I guess, is just take the lid off, and you can see they're looking good. Stuff flying everywhere. I don't know if they're gonna come out very easily, but I guess we'll see, and then maybe we can try to see what happens. But I don't really think they're just gonna come out. Like, oh, popsicle, I feel like this is gonna come out before.
Yeah, you don't want that.
All right, so I just got a cup of hot water, and I'm gonna kind of just dip it in and see if it can kind of loosen it up so we can get the popsicle out. And if not, who knows what we're gonna do here. This video is gonna be a complete fail.
Should I Google this?
Yeah, I was like, how does one get a popsicle out of a popsicle? All right, here it is. Okay, this method is not good. It really makes it melty. Maybe no water at all. Yeah, I think just loosening it with a knife works perfect. Here's our popsicle, came out nicely. It's got the little coconut on the bottom. I would say if you're doing this, my suggestion would just be to take a knife, and you don't need to do any sort of like water, just kind of put it on the side and then it'll just come right out. Let's try this coconut one first. It's really good. Creamy, coconutty, not too sweet. That's what I really like about these. These are gonna be a staple this summer. So let's try this other one now. This one I did that bad melting method, so it doesn't look as good, but. That one is delicious. I would highly recommend the pistachio. I've never had pistachio ice cream up until like a little while ago. And it is one of my favorite things now. It's so good. So I would definitely try this one, like be open. Let's get Blake to try them. Let's see what he thinks. Hi, Blake. We have coconut and pistachio. So I'm gonna have you try them and then tell me which one you think is your favorite.
Just these ones over here?
Yeah.
It's like super creamy. It tastes like whipped cream.
Isn't it good?
It's super good.
I like it with a little bit of almond extract too.
This one's more like I want like in the middle of the day, you know?
It's subtle.
It's like,
I actually think that you need to try this one first, then that one.
Yeah,
like,
this one
has way more flavor.
Yeah, unfortunately the pistachio
Yeah.
wins just purely based off of the two flavors. Coconut's really good. If you wanted more coconut flavor, maybe add more, like get coconut.
You got it.
Oh, you did get coconut?
Yeah, that has coconut extract in it.
So maybe add more?
Yeah.
I mean, this is good. I don't get me wrong, this is really good. It's just like the flavor versus this. This is so much lighter, so it's hard to like you said, I probably did it backwards. This is like a really good like afternoon popsicle. That's like I want a dessert, like you know what I'm saying?
So good.
That one's so good.
There you have it.
Pistachio.
Pistachio wins. So I'd say you should try these. They're very easy. You don't need that many ingredients. Like I said, I'll link the original ice cream recipe down below, but I'll also write out what I have done to make it the popsicle version. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.